release in your sacrum down. Gorgeous. Now bend your elbow again. Ready. And feel the heaviness in your elbow reaching down. Yes, and you pull the bar down. And then this moment I keep my knee a little bit here. You reach your bar down and push it out. Yes. There you are. And then you bring your arm back. You let your elbow soften down. You catch the movement with your triceps and biceps. And then you let the scapula going with your elbow. Find a line from your elbow to your pinky finger. Push the bar from here up. That's it. How was that? Was this different for you? Yeah? Can I take your head gently back towards me? Can you hold it? Now feel how your throat moving in your neck. And can I take your tiny little more back to me? Yes. Then let the inhale coming in. And when you exhale, think of growing, extending yourself more. That's it. Instead of collapsing down, feel you're getting a lift from underneath up. And then bend your elbow down.
My name is Emory M. Jr. and this is Exercise and Movement Technique, and today we are again here at Movement of Foot Studio, and I have the pleasure to be with Apollonia Holzer.
Yes, very good.
Movement practitioner extraordinaire. Let me see if I can remember all of the things that you do. So, Pilates technique, dance, massage therapy.
Yeah, I would call it Shiatsu therapy.
Shiatsu therapy, craniosacral. What am I forgetting?
I do matrix transformation.
Matrix transformation.
I was trained in prana healing.
Prana healing.
And then also in constellation work.
And constellation work.
It's actually based on the family constellation work from Bert Hellinger, but I didn't study it with him. I studied with Siegfried Essen. It's about constellation work more based on spirituality and finding the source in ourselves.
Okay, wonderful. So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I started, I was 33. And that's, let's say, how many years ago?
I don't know.
I'm 48 now. It's,
are you disclosing things?
No, 15 years. But my time before, I was living a long time in a convent, and there actually I started with dance already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your life calling. This is what you love to do. You've been doing this work for a long time. You're seeing people privately, you're seeing people in groups. You do a lot of different things. So what does that look like in your daily practice? If people, how do people come to you? What do you call the work? I know we're in a Pilates studio now, but it's not just Pilates, right? We do all kinds of things here, Franklin Method, Lab-On. And
I would say I use this all different tools I studied and take it out, the different tools, and use it for people to help them, to serve them. It's not I'm doing one technique and follow one technique, and like doing one exercise because I learned this exercise. But the question is, for what is this exercise for? What is the essence of it? And what does this person need?
right.
So, and for me it's like looking the person, the client is coming in from so many different angles.
Okay.
It's like, so what do you need to feel better?
So would you say a lot of people come to you with problems? Do they have different pathologies or?
I think some come to have problems, they want to feel better in their body, they have different issues.
Okay.
And some of them just want to walk out, but it's not just walking out to feel that, okay, my biceps go like that.
It doesn't sound like that, yeah.
No, it's like, I would call it more a holistic workout.
Okay, I like that.
You know?
So you're looking at the entire organism, mind, body, and you're paying attention to them and you're using your tools to help people.
Right.
That sounds wonderful.
And I think what is, especially in this time, a little missing when people are coming, I'm seeing you.
Okay.
You know?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
seeing you
just
also.
you're sitting here. So what do you bring with you in this room? Yeah.
So you had mentioned before that you wanted to talk about the breath. And I do a lot of work with the breath myself. And, you know, a lot of times when people talk about working with the breath, it's really esoteric, right? Well, we work with the breath. What does that mean? Well, what I do with the breath, there are different breathing exercises that have different effects. And the reason I start there is because that's where we try to move from. We have a whole host of people now who are talking about the core.
Right.
But I don't know to what degree they know what they're talking about, because I'm not thinking about you holding something stiff. I'm not talking about you having a six-pack. It doesn't matter to me whether you have a six-pack or not. It doesn't mean that you can move well.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you can actually originate movements from the center and that you can utilize that for your body's benefit.
Yeah, I would say the breath is for me the melody in the movement. You know, when you play the music and you hear that, and there's the breath. And where does the breath bring you? And how you use the breath, or how people are breathing and using also the expression in the face and the mouth and the sound. Already you can get so much information how the diaphragm is working.
Sure.
Like when I'm doing this, I'm actually pushing the breath out and pushing my abdominals out. Yeah? And I'm giving a lot of energy away. Yeah? And my system, I can feel my spine is pushed forward. Yeah? And also my pelvis floor is pushed down.
Yes.
So when, then just simple, you can see how they work out and how they end life hard working. And we are living in a time where everything is like so, you have stress and you have to do it, and that shows a lot in movement. So just bringing them a different awareness and telling, okay, inhale, you can, the belly can extend because the diaphragm is good. We have the skeleton here.
Yes.
So the diaphragm comes down, expanding down, so the organs comes out. When you exhale, the diaphragm actually moving up, and the tendon of the diaphragm releasing down in your sacrum. And actually that helps right away to lift up the pelvis floor and using the transversus abdominals.
Right.
So how you can help them to get there without, engage the transversus. Because a lot of people, so you should not do this, you should do engage the transversus, but people have sometimes know what does that mean, you know?
What you're talking about is trying to get people to engage the abdominals in a more intelligent way.
Yes, and
you're talking about intrinsic. I mean, there are intrinsic. I'm just breaking it down for our viewers because intrinsically, the intrinsic muscles, not the extrinsic muscles, not the superficial muscles. You're talking about a deeper experience. You're talking about affecting organs. You're talking about affecting circulation. You're talking about affecting the nervous system. So this is what I mean when I say that the exercise, it's operating on a deeper level. You'll get the effect that the people are looking for externally in terms of they get their contraction. If they load the muscle, they get the strength. But more than that, you're getting a benefit that goes way beyond that. What you're talking about now is stabilization of the pelvic floor. I can think about so many people, for instance, women who have just had a child. So many times they want to get back, especially if they're movers or dancers or just now in society where you have, you don't want it. I want to lose that fat. I want to lose that fat that I gain. And I'm like, well, first of all, there's no such thing as spot reduction. You can't decide where you want the fat to come from. But what we can do in a healthy way is start to get into the breath and start to reactivate that area in a healthy way because it may have been stretched. It may have been fatigued over the time, and the structures may have been changed to a way in which it's not necessarily beneficial. And yes, we do need to get you back there. And so I find the breath is a way in which people can access. They can access.
And also, I think when when you exhale, the different, what I want to do with you then, you can create a different feeling. And this feeling was effortless.
Okay.
You know? So then that you can take from the exercise with you outside.
Oh yes.
And that's actually much more than, because I'm not can lie down every day an hour on the floor, but I can integrate that in my walking, in my standing in the subway, standing and waiting till my turn is in the shop, you know, grocery. So like I can, how I said, exhale, or I just do like widen. Sometimes I say to people, think you're exhaling through your ears. You know, like see here, smile. What does your abdomen doing, and what you're creating further on with the smile in your body.
The inner smile.
Yeah. So when you smile and creating this space here, you already have all lifted.
Creating a release.
That's it. And further on, you create also an emotional that brings you in a better place.
Yes, I mean, it's very important, I think, to talk about the role of emotion in terms of the effect it has on the body. Because posturally even, when you are in a state of joy or in a state of elation, you have a different posture. Versus when you're not in a state that's not in a positive state. If you're in a negative state, if you're depressed, if you're down, if you're in pain. It also reflects on how you reflect in the world, right? You can, if I walked in and I was like this or something like that, we could have the same conversation, but the effect is like, wow, you know, what's wrong with him today?
Right.
And so, of course, if you can tap into, and I say of course because the work that we do is always looking to reach to those areas because we're looking to tap into the whole person.
Yeah.
We really care about the whole person. We're not just pieces. And somebody said, oh my goodness, I can't remember who it was in one of my interviews, but they said that the body is a lot more intelligent than the superficial. You know, the body itself is more intelligent than just training for a bicep or training for a six-pack. And then the experience of the person, like what kind of life really are you living where that is the main goal? Where that is such an important thing. Because in my experience, dealing with people who are older, dealing with people who have been injured, the first thing they want to do is be able to do things. When you can't put your shoes on by yourself, when you can't get up and walk, when you're in pain, the first thing that comes to your mind is how can I get back to my life? How can I do the things I love? And me, I love to do so many things that are physically related that's what takes priority, my ability to do. You know, you want to try something new. You've been on vacation and you're on this fantastic island or something like that, and you want to rent something, a motorcycle or a scooter or maybe a bicycle, or you decide you want to try rollerblades or ice skating for the first time. You should be able to try those things, and it should be in line with the movement training. There should be some kind of a...
Yeah, because it doesn't matter what exercise you do, there's a Prinzip, in German we say Gesetzmäßigkeit.
Okay.
Yeah? And every movement has a certain principle, you know. A
certain measurement.
Yeah, and doesn't matter.
Boundary.
Yeah, doesn't matter actually. It's what exercise you do. It's every time there's the dynamic, there's the space, and
dynamic, space.
What's the third one? I forgot it now. See?
You're on a roll. You're doing really good. You had me.
So, but
intention, is it intention?
No, the timing.
Ah.
Yeah.
The timing.
So